Are you tired of dying every single time you go for a retake? Well, maybe it's time you should actually start saving. But if that doesn't sound very fun, let's take a look at some really useful retake flashes on every single map in CS2 to bump that win percentage up just a little bit more. But before we get into all that, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. So, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code TACTICS on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. So let's go ahead and get started here with Vertigo. This is one of my favorite maps for these sorts of retake situations. And if you'll take a look, all of these common positions here for the T's, a very good way to deal with that is a nice team safe flash that you can throw that's going to blind all of these positions while not blinding your teammates as they run up. It's going to go on the opposite side of this steel beam. It's not going to blind your teammates, but as you can see from the T perspective, it's pretty darn brutal. So all you have to do to throw this bad boy is just to go right here into this corner, go up from the top left corner of this white wall, all the way up to the bottom of this part of the steel beam and just do a simple left click throw. And just like that, that flash is going to pop straight over the steel beam and not blind your teammates while destroying the enemy. So now moving on to Inferno, one of the cooler flashes that you can throw is if you jump all the way up here into the very top of this chair and you do a simple jump throw at the top right of this little column here on the arch, that is going to pop straight out of this window, pop down, and it's going to end up blinding most of the common angles here on site. There are a few obvious exceptions to that, such as if they're, hugging the close right side of the new box, or there's just a few more like first and second oranges that are not really going to be affected by this flash. However, most of those early points of contact here, they're going to get absolutely roasted by this flash, as well as this position here in pit. As you can see, it's just going to go straight down and full blind them. Of course, they can hear it and turn from it, but it is a very nice team safe flash on the premise that if they're over here on this right side, well, it's not going to blind them. If they go wide out, it can definitely still get them, so make sure you communicate that. But overall, this is a pretty nice flash to peek out with your team with. So moving on over to Anubis, this is a map that's kind of difficult to retake on both sites, and mostly that's because the re-entry pathing for CT is always a bit claustrophobic and there's not always good opportunity for utility. But there is one flash that I've learned recently where you can go right here into this doorway and just go up from the corner of this brick all the way up to this corner right here. So just anything like that. It's very loose. You don't have to put too much thought into it. And then just do a left and a right click throw. And now while that may seem like, oh, well, that's a very easy to turn from flash, it's very slow, may not be a good one, you've got to realize where people are going to be holding from. And one of the most common angles is going to be behind this pillar here to where they're just only exposing themselves to heaven. And if you'll notice, this flash does not give them much time to turn from. Shout out to Claptain Clips. I'm pretty sure I learned this from him. He has a pretty good channel, so definitely check him out. His link's going to be down in the description below. But one cool thing you can pair up after you throw this flash, if you're worried about someone maybe being down here on default, they definitely are going to have more time to turn from this, although they are going to get blinded by it. You can deal with that position by doing a simple jump throw with an HE grenade right into this chip in the wall right here, and that's going to land straight down on their face. And now moving on over to Nuke, one of the easier flashes you can throw is you're going to go right here into this corner, not this one, you're going to go into this corner and just left click at this guy's knee. We usually call this the knee flash because it pops down and it's going to full blind pretty much all of these common angles that you would want it to. And it's very, very easy to remember and throw. I mean, you just go here, left click it, and you're off to the races. I didn't even aim at the guy's knee, still hit it, no problem. And from the enemy POV, it looks something like this. So now moving on over to Ancient, one of the better flashes you can throw in a retake is by going right here into this corner and just doing a simple left click throw in the elbow of this little mountain. That's going to pop all the way over here and it's going to land in the front of this pillar to where any of your teammates here on this side, they can peek right after that pops to catch these two angles full blind, but also your teammates coming up short, well, they're not going to get blinded by this at all. So that's going to full blind anyone down here towards the bottom of Banana or up on the top here to where they're just getting absolutely destroyed by this flash. And what makes this one so good is from this exact same position, you can smoke off Cave, you can molly off behind default, and then also throw that flash to where you're really giving yourself a good chance of retaking this bomb site. This is what it looks like from their perspective. And now moving on to Mirage, I would say there are definitely better flashes here and there, but this one I find to be the most effective. I throw this for myself all the time and it always nets me a decent result, is I'll just go right here into the corner of this trash can and just do a simple left click throw towards the upper half of this diagonal line, so just about here, and that's going to pop on the other side of this wall, and it's going to full blind pretty much any of the positions you would expect to be exposed from this angle. And now moving on to Overpass, one of the most difficult areas to push out from is this dumpster jump up area here because there are just so many different angles you have to deal with all at once. Wouldn't it be nice if there was just one flashbang that would come up and blind every single one of these positions all at the exact same time? At first, this flash may seem a little bit complicated to throw. You just have to go right here into this corner, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You have to find one of these dots here on the wall, and now while that may seem a little bit ridiculous, you're gonna have to crouch, and there's this little darker smudge that kind of points in a line, and that line points directly to this dot right here. You then stand up and do a simple jump throw, and every single time you're gonna bank that flash to where it hits right here, and if they're close on this left side of the wall, it's not gonna blind them, but it is gonna blind all of these common positions out here on site. Since that flash is a little bit difficult to line up, here's a pretty easy one that you can throw that can help your teammates out if they're pushing up through dumpster. You're just gonna go right here into the middle of the staircase lined up with this arrow, and you're just basically gonna do a left click throw anywhere on the right hand side of this tip right here. Essentially what this is gonna do is it's gonna go on the back side of this truck right here to where it's gonna blind all of these common angles, even this one right here because of the way that it lands. But the great part about it is it's not going to blind your teammates as they're running out because it's going to pop on the opposite side of the truck here. So it's a really good team safe flash. They have a lot of time to turn from this, but as your teammates are pushing out, it's a good one to throw because you can layer it up and throw multiple of them to give your teammates an advantage in the fight. And finally, let's take a look at Dust 2 so that I don't get yelled at in the comments section. So if you go right here into this corner and do a simple left click right where this inlet is here in the hay roof, you can just do a simple left click throw, and that is going to go on the other side of this little tooth, and it's going to full blind all the enemies on site, but not blind your teammates as they're running out. Now there's plenty of time for them to react from this thing, but what makes it so great is the fact you can throw this as your teammates are pushing out as opposed to before, so that in the middle of their fights, they may get some blind enemies to shoot at while they're not getting blinded themselves. So yeah guys, I hope this video helps you out in your next CS2 Premier match. If you enjoyed this and you think you learned something new, go ahead and hit that like button or maybe even consider subscribing. If you want to help me out, go ahead and click that Skins Monkey link down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.